Good morning, everyone, and it's Monday morning. I was so lucky last week because I was allowed to go out and meet 6 people outside of my home, which I was really looking forward to. And you know, the only people I met and the only place I went was school. And I was so lucky that I got to see lots and lots of you through the windows, and I got to see you walk down the drive at the end of the day, and I got to see lots of your grown-ups, and that really, really was the highlight of my week. I can't believe how big lots of you have got. And the message I've got today is around road safety. So as things get a little bit better, and we're allowed to go out and do a lot more, and the summer holidays are coming up, so we're having more time out and about in that lovely weather that hopefully we will get. And I noticed on Friday, now our grown-ups don't collect us straight from our classroom door where it's a bit safer. You walk beautifully, I have to say it was beautifully done, down the drive and meet your grown-ups there. And although that keeps you safer in lots of ways, keeps you safe from those germs that we don't want, it does put you closer to the road. So the message I'm going to talk to you about today is a little bit about road safety. And there is a funny, silly little rap, and I'm going to have to try and rap and pretend to be a cat. So as much as I want you to enjoy that, I do want you to remember there is a really, really important message. So let's get started. Oh, there we go. So this is Super Cat's road safety story. So there are 5 characters in this story. We have got Sam, Mia, Super Cat, Daddy and Granny. And Super Cat, that's what they call me. And do you know why they call me that? Because I am a cat and I have super senses. Don't worry, I use my super senses for good. I use them to help children to stay safe on the roads. The only thing is, it is a very busy job trying to keep all of the boys and girls safe, and I need some super kitten helpers. Will you help me? I'm sure you're all saying yes. I'm sure you can all be super kittens for the next 5 minutes. So, if you're going to help me, there's something very important you need to learn. My road safety rap. If my super senses ever pick up the scent of someone about to get in trouble near a road, I race to them as quick as a flash. I strike my superhero pose, whatever your superhero pose might be. Pick your superhero pose and say, Super Cat's here, so say meow. Want to cross the roads safely? I'll tell you how. First, you stop and look from side to side. Then you listen and think. That's the Super Cat guide. Okay, let's go over that one again. Super Cat's here, so say meow. Want to cross the road safely? I'll tell you how. First, you stop, look from side to side. Then you listen, think. That's the Super Cat guide. Okay, so it's all about stopping, looking, listening and thinking. Perfect. Now you know my Super Cat road safety rap. You can come and help me. Come on, super kittens, let's go. I can smell trouble ahead. On a street not far away lived a little boy called Sam. Sam lived with his daddy and his granny. And Sam's daddy had to work a lot, so his granny normally looked after him. Sam was very lucky. His best friend Mia lived just across the road and they played together all the time. One sunny Monday afternoon, Sam and Mia were playing football together in Sam's front garden and Granny was reading her magazine. Just like what might be happening with you in the summer holidays. Mia accidentally kicked the ball a little too hard and it flew straight past Sam onto the road. Easy, happens all the time. Sam started to chase after the ball and was about to step in the road when suddenly Super Cat appeared. Sam was so startled by Super Cat's appearance that he stopped just in time. Super Cat's here, so say meow. Want to cross the road safely? I'll tell you how. First you stop and look from side to side, then you listen and think. That's the Super Cat Guide. Hopefully you joined in. Super Kittens, do you think Sam should run out into the road to get his football? Think about it. Yes, it's his football. He doesn't want it to get popped by a car. But do you think he should run out into the road? If something happens to the football, it can be replaced very quickly. If something happens to Sam, we don't want that to happen, do we? Let's see what Super Cat says. It was a good job Super Cat stopped Sam when he did, because a car was going very fast down the road. Super Cat explained to Sam that it is never safe to run into a road. He told him that before we cross any road, we must always stop, look both ways, listen for the traffic, and think whether it is safe to cross. Sam thanked Super Cat for saving him. A few days later, Sam and Mia were very excited as they walked with Granny to the park. The minute they saw the park, they wanted to cross the road to get to it. Sam's granny told them they needed to wait until they got to the zebra crossing to cross the road. Just for a second, Sam imagined a real zebra. A zebra? Asked Sam, very confused. Not a real zebra, laughed Mia. And Mia pointed to the black and white stripes painted on the road and explained to Sam that zebra crossings help us to cross the road safely. So she said, not a real zebra. When cars and motorbikes see you at a zebra crossing, they stop to let you cross. And that's one of the things that you learn when you're learning to drive, that if you see a zebra crossing and you see somebody waiting to cross, you stop and you cross. However, it's really important that we know a zebra crossing, it doesn't mean we just get to a zebra crossing and we walk straight out, okay, because the car is always going to stop. We still must do the stop, look both ways, okay, we must think, is it safe? We must wait, okay, so we approach the zebra crossing, we must wait until the car stops, and we know that that car has stopped to let us pass. But it doesn't mean that there is a zebra there, unfortunately. When Sam and Mia got to the zebra crossing, they were about to walk straight onto the road when suddenly Super Cat appeared again. Super Kittens, do you think it is safe for Sam and Mia to step straight onto the zebra crossing on the road? They've got to that zebra crossing and they think, well, it's a zebra crossing, this is where I should cross. Should they just walk straight out? Super Cat explained to Sam and Mia that zebra crossings are great. They do help you to cross the road safely, but sometimes people in cars may not see you and they may not stop. Super Kittens, can you remind Sam and Mia what we have to do every time before we cross a road, even if there is a zebra crossing? I think there's a rap coming up. Are you ready for it? Super Cat's here, so say meow. Want to cross the road safely? I'll tell you how. First you stop and look from side to side, then you listen and think. That's the Super Cat Guide. Okay, stop, look, listen, think. A few days later, Sam and his granny were walking home from the shops. This time, Granny said they would cross at a pelican crossing. Even though Sam knew she didn't mean a real pelican, he still imagined one. Sam knew that at a pelican crossing there are traffic lights, and when he pressed a special button, he had to wait for the red man to turn green. Super Cat was watching in a tree close by. Super Kittens, when Sam sees the green man, what do you think he should do? So he's at the pelican crossing, he's pressed that button, it's changed from red man to green man. What should he do? Should he just step out into the road? It's gone green, that means I can go. Should he do? Thankfully, Sam remembered Super Cat's advice, and when the green man appeared, he used his super sense of sight and looked both ways for the cars to stop before crossing the road. Yes, a pelican crossing is brilliant because it makes the traffic lights for the people on the road, the drivers, it makes them stop and turns green for you to walk. Unfortunately, some people don't stop for a red light. Sometimes people are distracted and they might not see it and they might keep driving. Or emergency vehicles, okay? So when emergency vehicles are in a rush, like the police or an ambulance or a fire engine, they are allowed, no, they have very special training, but they are allowed to go through a red light if it is safe. So it doesn't mean that you should still just walk out because it's green for you, because actually a fire engine might be coming really, 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 really fast, and they might be planning on going through that red stoplight for them, even though it's green for you. And although they will be looking for you at the side of the road and weighing that up, because that's part of their special driver training, you also need to make sure you're using those super sensors. Super Cat was feeling happy that Sam had remembered to use his super sensors, but then as Sam was halfway across the road, he let go of his granny's hand and ran the rest of the way. Super Cat climbed down the tree as quick as a flash and appeared in front of Sam. Super Kittens, please can you help Sam by telling him what he did that was unsafe when he crossed the road? What did he do that was unsafe? He pushed the button, he waited for it to go to green, he used his super sensors before crossing. But what did he do that was unsafe? Super Cat told Sam that he should never run across the road in case he falls over. He also told him that he should always hold his grown-up's hand when crossing a road to help keep him safe. Sam couldn't believe how clever Super Cat was. He thanked him and watched as Super Cat hurried away. When Sam woke up the next morning, it was the weekend. Sam was very excited that his daddy didn't have to work today and could take him and Mia to football practice. To get to football practice, they needed to cross the road. As they got close, Daddy began to step out onto the road. Super Cat was about to come to the rescue when suddenly Sam shouted, "Daddy, stop!" Sam's daddy was shocked. He stopped and asked Sam, "What's wrong?" And Sam decided he needed to teach his daddy how to cross a road safely. So that's really, really, really important that yes, we trust our grown-ups and we hold our grown-ups' hand, but Sam's daddy might have been distracted. He might have been looking at his phone and not thinking about what was happening crossing the road. So it's really important that Sam also used his super senses and kept himself and daddy safe. Stop. Anytime you get to a road and you have to stop, even if there is a zebra or pelican crossing there to help you. Look. Then you have to use your super sense of sight to look both ways to see if you can see any traffic coming. Listen. Next, turn on your super sense of hearing and listen to check if you can hear any traffic coming. So you might hear a car, or like I said, those emergency vehicles, you might hear a siren coming. And think. Finally, think and ask yourself if it is safe to cross. Dad was amazed and asked Sam how he knew so much about how to cross a road safely. Sam just sat, smiled and said, "My friend Super Cat and his super kittens helped to teach me." Super Cat felt so proud of Sam, he could burst. My work here is done, said Super Cat with the biggest smile you have ever seen on a cat. Super Kittens, now it is your turn to make sure your friends and family all know how to cross the road safely. If you are ever unsure what you need to do, just remember my super road safety rap and it will help you. One last time. Super Cat's here, so say meow. Want to cross the road safely? I'll tell you how. First you stop and look from side to side, then you listen and think. That's the Super Cat Guide. So that's a really, really important message, and I hope it's one that sticks with you. I hope you enjoyed the Super Cat rap, and I don't mind if you're singing it for the rest of the day, and go home and sing it to your grown-ups, okay, because it's really important that we stay safe. And although you might be moving on to year 2 in September, I do want to see you all back at school safely. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.